Last year was an impressive year for the Iowa Hawkeye wrestling team. They returned to the top, winning their 24th national title, or the outright dual and Big Ten champions. With all 10 guys returning, there seems to be little worry that Iowa will return to this status. However, there seems to be a lot of questions regarding their current lineup. But before we get into that, what's going on, everybody? My name is Tanner, and this is TrueTan Wrestling, and I'm just a college wrestler trying to make videos about my favorite sport, Division I college wrestling. So if you are a fan of D1 college wrestling and you want to see more roster analysis, dual meet and tournament recaps / reviews, and breaking news stories, please give this video a like, and if you love this video, feel free to hit that subscribe button or leave a comment. Now, without further ado, let's jump into Iowa's current lineup. Iowa won NCAAs last year with a score of 129 points with 7 All-Americans and 2 round of 12 finishers. The lone champ was the amazing Spencer Lee, where he said his infamous line, "Excuses are for wusses," after winning a national title with 2 torn ACLs, a truly incredible feat. Next up the lineup was Austin DeSanto, who had the highest finish in his career, finishing third after losing to Dayton Fix in the semifinals. At 141, they had one of their 3 finalists, Jayden Eierman, the unorthodox transfer from Missouri and Big Ten champ. He ended up falling to Penn State's Nick Lee in sudden victory. And then their final finalist was the 6-year 174-pounder Michael Kemmer, who would also lose to a Nittany Lion, Carter Starocki. Next at 197, there's Jacob Warner, who will lose to the eventual champ AJ Ferrari, but giving Ferrari his closest match of that tournament, but would eventually take 4th after losing to Big Ten and then soon-to-be Olympic bronze medalist Miles Amita of Michigan. Their other third-place finisher was Tony Cassiope, who hasn't gotten over the Gable Steveson or Mason Paris hump, but still was very productive for the Hawkeyes last year and should be this year as well. Wrapping things up with 157 and Caleb Young, who placed 7th, which is a little bit of a downgrade from his past finishes. And then there was Max Muir and Alex Marinelli, who both were round of 12 exits, both losing in the quarters and then dropping their blood round matches. Muir would lose to the very good Jane Abbas of Stanford, and Marinelli would medical forfeit out after losing in the quarters to Shane Griffiths, who would eventually become the national champ that year. Then there was Nelson Brands, who would go 1 and 2, but I count this to him never truly being a 184-pounder this season, and as the season got longer, he just couldn't keep up with the weight gaining. Overall, Iowa sort of underperformed, considering they were favored to win 4 of the 10 weight classes and only had 3 finalists and then 1 eventual champ. But even with taking a couple lumps, not All-American everyone they should have, or having as many chances they should have, and Penn State finishing with 4 champs, they still won the team title, facing some adversity. Fast forward to this season, and Iowa is set to wrestle their historical out-of-conference rival, Iowa State, this weekend. There's already a lot of great wrestling set for this weekend with Cliff Keen Las Vegas, and this Iowa-Iowa State duel will be a great way to end the weekend on a Sunday night. However, based on their past 2 duels, Iowa's lineup does not seem as star-studded as the last time these 2 teams met, all the way back in 2019. Recently, Spencer Lee, Max Muir, and Michael Kemmer have yet to wrestle, and have not wrestled in any duels yet either. High speculation is that they are staying out to the second half of the season. As a fan, this kind of stinks, but as a wrestler, it's sort of smart, especially for Spencer Lee and Michael Kemmer. Kemmer is entering his 7th year of college wrestling and is known for injuries, so a full college wrestling season could have diminishing returns by the time March rolls around. The same is true for Spencer Lee. Considering another ACL surgery might take him out for more than a year, I'm assuming they did not get surgery for his knees. Resting him and rehabbing those knees is probably the best move until the second half of the season. The weird lineup move is Jacob Warner not wrestling the past 2 duels. He did wrestle at the Luther Open, but has yet to step into the dual meet setting, and the same is true for Ava Saab, but we will cover the 184 situation in the weight-by-weight breakdown. It is weird to think with all 10 guys returning that Iowa has this many questions about their lineup, but the best way to do a roster breakdown is to go weight by weight with each starter so far and the information we have. That being said, at 125, the starter appears to be Jesse Ybarra for the time being, who is a solid option, but as anyone would say, is a clear major downgrade from Spencer Lee. I have no doubt Spencer Lee will be back, and Ybarra is a good option for now, but the question is just when will that switch happen? Tom Brands has already said in press conferences that Ybarra is the guy for Iowa State, and Ybarra's current best wins this season are against top D3 wrestler Nathan Rankin at the Luther Open, and in the Army duel against Chauvin by a 3-1 sudden victory win. Fortunately for Iowa Hawkeye fans, the next 2 weights are unchanged, with Austin DeSanto and Jayden Eierman doing DeSanto and Eierman things, both scoring several bonus points this season. 149 appears to be a different story though, with the current starter appearing to be Kobe Siebrecht, who's technically a freshman, but on his 3rd year of school. Man, COVID really messed up eligibility, didn't it? But anyway, back on topic. Seabrecht had an impressive tech fall against Princeton, but then would drop a major decision to Ogasanya of Army. Ogasanya is a great competitor and a national qualifier along with the EIW champ from last year, but I have a feeling that Murin would have won this match. So for right now, Seabrecht is a downgrade, but a viable option for the Hawkeyes for the time being. At 157, Caleb Young is still the returning starter, who dropped a pretty convincing decision to Quincy Monday of Princeton. Monday looked lights out during this match, and it was at Carver Hawkeye Arena, which is impressive, so he will be on many people's radars at 157. I still think Young will be productive for the Hawks and can still reach All-American status for his third or technically fourth honor. 165 is still Alex Marinelli, but the only thing to mention is their redshirt / backup Patrick Kennedy, who has given Marinelli his closest match so far. I chalk this up to Kennedy being a great option for the Hawks next year, and he was a top recruit in his class. I also chalk it up that Alex Marinelli and Patrick Kennedy probably wrestle all the time in the practice room, so they know what each other's going to do from a wrestling standpoint. If I was an Iowa fan, I would not be worried about Alex Marinelli's production, and I honestly hope he makes it over the quarterfinal / semi hump and makes it to the finals and maybe even becomes a national champ for Iowa this year. Now this is where the lineup becomes sort of fun. For starters, I don't think many people expected Nelson Brands to be down to 174 this year, but it appears he might be filling in for Michael Kemmer until he returns. Nelson's went on record saying he never really weighed 184, and 174 is an easy cut for him, only shedding off a few pounds. He has been destroying competition with 2 major decision wins, so he might be a great option for the Hawks, but there is no word on Michael Kemmer's return. Now at 184, I thought heading into this year would be a three-way battle between Abe Assad, Miles Wilson, and Nelson Brands. Brands obviously is down to 174, and Miles is returning from a summer of freestyle training after qualifying for U23s. This was a shock to most people last year since he never really sniffed the lineup, so qualifying for U23s was a great accomplishment for Wilson. However, Assad recently had a loss at the Luther Open to a high schooler, Clayton Witten, who I believe is a commit to Missouri Tigers. This is a great win for Witten, but obviously a weird loss for Assad and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Assad was hurt all last year, so maybe he's still dealing with the effects of that. However, he did wrestle an extra match at Princeton after the Luther Open, so I'm not sure if that's the case either. Overall, I'm really excited to see this weight shake up and see what happens in the long run for this 184 weight class for Iowa. But in my opinion, I still think Nelson Brands is the best option, even if he is a little smaller. So I find it weird that Iowa decided to shrink him down to 174 and not try to get him bigger this offseason. 197 is also puzzling for this lineup. Warner has not wrestled since the Luther Open, so redshirt freshman Zach Glazer has been filling in for the returning All-American. I'm sure they are just resting Warner and giving Glazer opportunities. However, Glazer currently has no D1 opponent wins, so his productivity is a little low this season. It is still early for the young 197, and he's not getting blown out by quality opponents, so there is still potential for Glazer. Finally, there is Big Tony Cassiope at heavyweight, who only missed a little bit of the season due to him being at U23s. He's made a huge body change over this offseason and looks more toned and looks like he put on a lot more muscle mass. He also would win a U23 gold medal just a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, after winning his U23 gold medal overseas, he would lose a weird match at Princeton. Like many others, we are talking this up to be a total fluke, and I believe if they wrestled 100 times, Cassiope would win 99 of them. Congratulations to Princeton, though. It was a very good win for their heavyweight. He would later bounce back against Army to score bonus points for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and like I said, it was just a total fluke. So I'm not really worried for Cassiope, and I believe he will finish top 4 again this March. This was just a quick recap of what we've seen from the Iowa lineup so far as they head into Iowa State this weekend, where there will be some key matchups and telling points for this first half or temporary Iowa lineup. 125 will show what Ybarra is truly capable of, as he's going up against ranked opponent with a couple good wins, Tarakina. Caleb Young versus returning champ David Carr was a wild match last time these two went at it, and it should be no different, especially from all the growth David Carr and Young has made since the last time they've wrestled. And finally, a match I am most excited for is Miles Wilson or Abe Assad versus Marcus Coleman. I'm sort of hoping Miles Wilson gets a start here because Coleman looked really good and impressive at Daktronics Open. It looks like he's made a lot of improvements since last season. I kind of want to see how Miles Wilson does against a top 10 opponent. Overall, I'm excited to see this Iowa lineup evolve over the season, and I'm sure more questions will arise with every lineup question answered. If I missed anything or you guys want me to talk about another D1 wrestling topic, feel free to leave a comment. If you liked this video, feel free to leave a like, and if you loved it, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button to grow the sport of wrestling and to grow my channel, of course. And with all that said, I will see you guys next time, and have a great day.